Hello friends, I'm George, the nice medic gentleman. Welcome back to my channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. Today's video is going to be yet another episode of my challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. In this challenge I'm trying to wear 300 different scents as my scent of the day in 300 consecutive days and share my experience with you guys. And this video is going to cover from day 29 to day 35 of this challenge. For day 29 of this challenge, which was Monday of this week, I went with a classic men's designer fragrance from the house of Jacques Bogart called Bogart Per Homme. Now, if you're not familiar with this fragrance, this is a very old fragrance that was launched all the way back in 2004, and many people say that this was the actual inspiration for such great fragrances like Mugler's Pure Havane and Xerjoff's Naxos. And if you're familiar with those two fragrances and you've never used Bogart Per Homme and you spray this one, you'll immediately pick up the sort of similarities between this and those two classics that I just mentioned. Now, this is not completely the same scent-wise, but you still get some of the same notes like honey, lavender, tobacco, a touch of tobacco. Performance is great with this fragrance. Even the newer formulations still perform great. A little bit softer on the projection side. It's dirty cheap. If you enjoy my videos guys and you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It will mean a lot to me and it will also motivate me to keep creating useful content for you. Okay, my scent of the day for day 30 of this challenge was from the house of Lattafa and it's called Opulent Musk. Now this is a fragrance that's very heavily inspired by MFK's Baccarat Rouge 540. It's not a straight up clone like one-to-one clone. This feels lighter and fresher compared to Baccarat Rouge, but still it's done in a very similar way. Now, unfortunately, I think that this is a bit too feminine because it's softer and more airy compared to the original. And I have not worn this for a very long time, and to be honest, I don't see myself using this one in the future. For day 31 of this challenge, I went with a fragrance from the house of Swiss Arabian called Shagaf Oud Azraq. Now, recently I did a full review of this fragrance and I also mentioned it in my previous video. This is a very strong fragrance with very strong performance and very strong Middle Eastern vibe to it. The fragrance in here, the opening is all about the mix of some oud, synthetic oud and honey, and the dry down is all about the sweet notes like tonka bean, vanilla, amber, some of that honey and lots of that oud from the opening. For day 32 of this challenge I went with another fragrance from the house of Lattafa and their Pride line called Ansam Silver. As I said, this is part of their Pride line and this is a fragrance that you can consider a clone of Azzaro's The Most Wanted. The opening is slightly fresh, slightly spicy, slightly green as well, and the dry down is quite sweet. The scent in here is very close to the original fragrance from Azzaro. Also, the performance here is good. It was good when I got this fragrance a few months ago, and with a few months of maceration, it seems to have improved the performance out of this fragrance. Now it easily lasts 8 hours on my skin without any problem, with quite good but soft projection for about an hour and a half. For day 33 of this challenge I went with a fragrance from the house of Armaf called Armaf Craze. Now this is probably the most popular clone of Parfum de Marly's Pegasus, and scent wise this is a very decent clone. The fragrance in here is all about the mix of vanilla and bitter almond, although in this fragrance the almond note isn't that bitter. This is like slightly sweeter take on the Pegasus DNA. Performance is pretty good, projection is pretty good, price tag is very low. For day 34 I went with yet another classic men's designer fragrance from the house of Jean Paul Gaultier, the original Le Maux. Now this thing was launched all the way back in 1995, and when it was launched it was considered to be probably one of the sweetest men's fragrances. It sort of was like a very revolutionary type of product when it was launched because of the amount of sweetness, the amount of vanilla that you get with this fragrance. Now fast forward 25-30 years later and this fragrance doesn't seem that sweet at all, and this definitely brings a lot of memories. I used to wear this one a lot when I was a teenager, and now the funny thing is that back then this was considered a very youthful scent, and nowadays this is considered more of a mature type of scent. If you have never smelled the original Le Mans, this fragrance is all about the mix of lavender, mint and vanilla, with some cinnamon in the background, some wood, some spices, but the main players here are the lavender and the vanilla combo. Performance is still very decent, even with modern formulations. You know, older formulations used to be beast mode performing fragrances. Newer formulations are, let's call them, very good performing fragrances. And for day 35, which is today, I went with one of the most versatile cheapies on the markets right now, from the house of Armaf, the Club de Nuit Urban Man Elixir. Now, I'm a big fan of this fragrance for two reasons. First of all, it carries a lot of the original Sauvage EDT DNA, and I still absolutely love the original Sauvage EDT. But Armaf have done a small twist on the scent profile in here. They've added a bit of fruits in the opening and some pineapple notes in the opening of this one. You know, just made it slightly different compared to the Sauvage EDT, but this is still very close to the original, especially on the dry down. It's a super versatile fragrance that can work all year round for any type of occasion. Price tag is very low. Performance here is great, projection is great, the compliment factor is absolutely fantastic. So that was all for this episode of my challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. In today's episodes, I covered my scent of the day from day 29 to day 35 of this challenge. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.